Hello, and a very warm welcome. Your Chinese race reaction as Oscar Piastri statement win and a big response from his Melbourne disaster. It was a clean start to the race, but we did see the Ferraris have contact. Charles Leclerc tried to take the inside line, did touch Lewis Hamilton. Alonso then retired from the race with no brakes. And yeah, 0 points so far for Fernando Alonso. Bortoleto had a spin in the gravel and was lucky not to hit the wall. And then all of a sudden, Helmut Marko in the garage presses brake Yuki's front wing, and Yuki's front wing just fails randomly. 10-second penalty for Jack Doohan, forcing Isaac Hadjar off the road. And as I've left it a bit, just dissecting the race, and it is looking very likely that Yuki Tsunoda will be in the Red Bull for Japan. PR stunt, home race, it works. But yeah, we will be tearing Red Bull to bits on Tuesday regarding this. And possible Leclerc and Gasly have an underweight car, so they could get disqualified from the Grand Prix. DNF's Fernando Alonso. My star of the race. Everyone's giving it Ollie Behrman. I understand why. But I think Ocon is getting a bit overlooked. Because at the end of the day, Ocon is best of the rest there. I think you can give it either driver. Ocon or Ollie. They both deserve driver of the day. Ocon P7. That's outstanding. Ollie Behrman 17th to 10th. Getting that switchback after the long straight. So let's run down the order. Oscar Piastri, P1. Brilliant. Literally redemption from a big mistake in Melbourne. He wins the race. It was a dominant drive. P2, Lando Norris. Yeah. Got a good start, Lando. But yeah, at the end of the race, he was going to retire. He had big brake issues. They were screaming and pleading him not to use the brake. And he kept going and going. P3, George Russell. What an amazing start to the season. He's been quiet, under the radar. Podium, podium. Brilliant. P4, Max. Once again in no man's land. He was 6th. And then he boosted himself to 4th. Again, you may look at that and say it's not great. But that is key points. 5th, Charles Leclerc. He is under investigation for an underweight car. Had contact with Lewis Hamilton. Had a damaged wing and was quicker than Lewis Hamilton, and Ferrari actually made the right call to let him through, and then Max overtook him late on. 6th, Lewis Hamilton, not really a good race. I mean, Leclerc was faster with the damaged wing. He did get fastest lap, but yeah, not the highs of the sprint race. 7th, Esteban Ocon, outstanding, sensational. Nowhere in Melbourne to finish best of the rest. That is outstanding by Esteban Ocon. 8th, Kimi Antonelli. He got driver of the day. How? 8th to 8th. Like, how has he got driver of the day? I have no idea. Yeah, 7th quality, 8th in the race. I don't understand that one. Apparently he had floor damage again. 9th, Alex Albon, sensational again. Absolutely schooling Carlos Sainz. 10th, Ollie Behrman, probably the highlight of the race really. It was a pretty mediocre race. Ollie Behrman went for the different strategy, was behind Lance Stroll. He pitted because Stroll was holding him up. And then he was just going down the back straight on the outside, and then he get the switch back and overtake them. And he's actually finished ahead of Stroll, so it was a good call by Haas to box. 11th, Gasly, he's under investigation for underweight car, and if this all happens, that would promote Lance Stroll to 10th. He did finish 12th, Lance Stroll, but if Gasly and Leclerc get a penalty, that will boost him for another point. Good weekend again by Stroll. 13th, Carlos Sainz, absolutely nowhere, not good enough. 14th, Isaac Hadjar. How have Racing Bulls ended up with no points again? Hadjar stuck behind Doohan for long periods. Doohan, 15th, got a penalty for forcing Hadjar off. 16th, Lesbian Lawson. That could be his last race in Red Bull. Not good enough. Red Bull need the points. They're not getting points with Lawson, and I think he's out already after 2 rounds, and Red Bull are to blame for putting him in there in the first place. Everyone with a brain cell knows Yuki should be here, and yet Lawson's so far off Max's rear. 17th, Bortoletto spun in the gravel and still beat the Hulk. 18th, Hulkenberg, really poor. 19th, Yuki Tsunoda, with a very strange front wing, like, had to pit. Ridiculous. How has that happened? But yeah, there's big, strong rumours, and yeah, going around that Yuki Tsunoda will be in the car for Japan. Home race, great PR stunt. But yeah, Yuki should have been in at the start of the season. And finally, Red Bull, it took them 2 races to realise that they promoted Lawson too early, and Yuki is now going to get his chance. I would love it if Yuki Tsunoda just said, no, I'm staying at Racing Bulls for the season. You need to beg me. Get on your hands and knees and beg for me to sign that cursed second seat contract. So there we have it, Chinese race reaction. Join me tomorrow for driver ratings. I need to do the race rating. I gave it 3 out of 10. I thought it was a poor Chinese Grand Prix. Loved the crowd though, 220,000 over the weekend. Yeah, my star of the race, Ocon and Ollie Behrman. Join me for driver ratings tomorrow.